Bienvenidos to the virtual open house. My name is Marissa Foti, and I teach secondary English as a new language at Bulkley Middle School and Rhinebeck High School. A little bit about me. As I said, I teach English as a new language, and I'm also certified to teach English 7 through 12. Hablo español y falo portugués. I speak Spanish and Portuguese. I am currently in the Fulbright Teachers for Global Classrooms program, which is wonderful and fantastic, and I'd love to talk more about that to you and to other teachers about globalizing classrooms. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I'll be traveling abroad this summer, but we shall see. It's my 6th year at Rhinebeck, but my 8th year teaching total. I'm a lifelong learner. I love traveling, languages, hiking, and yoga. As far as ENL goes, I work with pull-out in small groups. I also work remotely. I push into content area classrooms and collaborate with teachers and teams. A little bit more about ENL support. ENL support is based on language proficiency. So each spring, an English language learner takes a New York State test called the NICE slot, here, pointer. And that gives us an indication of their proficiency level in English based on their listening, speaking, reading, and writing. If we have a new student or a kindergarten student, they take the New York State entrance exam, which is called the NICE. Now, based on their results, we learn their proficiency level in English, whether they're an entering English language learner, emerging, transitioning, expanding, or commanding. And as you can see, the more proficiency that they have, the more independent they can be with English. These are also indicators of the units of study, the amount of support that they receive. For example, a commanding English language learner only receives 90 minutes of support a week. But an expanding learner receives 180 minutes, and then of course, entering and emerging learners receive much more than that. Now, the way they receive support is based on their proficiency level too. So we could divide the proficiency levels into 3 sections. The first 2 sections, entering and emerging English language learners, receive their ENL support in a pull-out standalone class. So I'll work with them either one-on-one or in a very small group with targeted language support and instruction. On the other hand, students who are at the expanding or commanding proficiency level, they have much more independence with their English. So I support them in a push-in environment in a content area classroom. Students who are in the middle of the transitioning language proficiency level, they receive a combination of pull-out and push-in support to build their English language basics, but also build their academic language as well in the content area. So each year after we give the NICE slot, we get a report that looks like this. This is sent home to parents each spring. Unfortunately, there was no NICE slot given in the spring of last year due to the school closures. So a student's proficiency level and the units of study are based on the previous year's NICE slot or NICE. Oops, let me go back. To make up for that, we are doing more rigorous progress monitoring this year. We're working with a company, Pearson, which makes the TEL exam, which is the Test of English Language Learning. It's an iPad exam. It takes about an hour, and we'll be administering it to our English language learners once every quarter so that we can still see how they're progressing when it comes to their listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And we can target instruction based on that data. So what does ENL support look like? Usually when we receive the NICE slot data, I focus in on the student's strengths and weaknesses in the 4 language modalities. And with that, I come up with a plan to pre-teach concepts and vocabulary and build background knowledge, clarify and teach academic vocabulary, create and provide scaffolds for students to be able to express their content knowledge. And scaffolds are tools like sentence frames or word banks or picture dictionaries. They're little step ladders that help students achieve at grade level. I create and provide support materials such as visuals, graphic organizers, study guides to support comprehension. I differentiate and modify quizzes and tests as needed. And I usually offer lunch and after-school language support and practice, but of course, this year I offer remote language support and practice. So I invite students to set up meetings with me on Wednesdays during remote time and in the afternoons during remote time for extra support. This year, because of our hybrid schedule, digital literacy is needed more than ever. We also need parents to collaborate with us. We need parents' help in keeping a learning schedule at home. We need parents' help to provide a quiet learning environment at home, to monitor students' agenda books, to maintain communication with teachers when needed and as needed. So I could suggest earbuds as a fantastic tool to help your students stay focused when doing assignments at home. Monitoring digital agenda books. We're very lucky that our teachers are providing us with digital agenda books each week to help keep our students on task. So here's an example of the 7th grade digital agenda book once it loads. So each week teachers input their assignments for the week. They give an estimated time. And so it's really up to the student to manage their time to achieve all of their assignments this year. And it will take some extra support from parents as well. Okay. So there are a lot of digital tools that we are hoping parents can learn this year. And some of the ones I've listed below are Canvas, Zoom, Google Drive, which includes Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Sheets. Rhinebeck uses Outlook email as well as sometimes a Gmail login or Google login. I also highly recommend Google Translate as a fantastic communication tool, and the Talking Points app, which I'll talk more about in the next slide. Now more than ever, we want to empower an ENL digital community of connectivity and support. So I encourage you to reach out if you're having trouble understanding how to use Canvas or Zoom or Google Drive. I'd be happy to answer those questions. And even to organize workshops online for digital support and digital literacy for students and families. Talking Points is a fantastic app that I just began using this year. I highly recommend it. It's a free app that you can download on your phone or your computer or both. It has no charge, and it uses a combination of a computer translator and a real human translator to translate messages between parents and teachers in 100 different languages. So I could reach out to a parent who speaks Tagalong, and my message will be translated into Tagalong. That parent could then respond in Tagalong, and the message would be translated back to me in English. It is wonderful. It is free. Please download it. And if you would like to download the Talking Points app, you can enter in my class code here to start communicating with me about your child and any questions or assignments you have. R50VX8. You can also email me any questions that you may have at mfoti@rhinebeckcsd.org. I have an office phone number. It's the high school phone number, extension 5119, or you could choose to just leave me a voicemail by dialing extension 4539. If you need oral translation, you can call the school and just ask to be put through with Language Line Solution. It's a phone translation service that the school has contracted with. So no matter what, all lines of communication are open. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you have a great virtual parent night. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions.